Legal people say Bible that says thou outdo one thing, you know.
This is the Hustler's Corner.
Ekasi.
Hey, what's up, guys? Big homie Spooner out here in Jersey. I'm excited because we are recording another episode. As I promised you guys, this year we're putting in a lot of work. I know over the past couple of years, we'd record one interview in 2 months, one in 1 month. I promise you guys we're going to have an interview every week. And all of our episodes come out Friday, 12 o'clock. But I'm going to work so hard that we get to a point where our interviews come out Friday and Monday. And I'll even work harder, so much so that by the end of this year, we would have gotten into a structure that gives out episodes every week. Now, the person that I'm hanging out with here today, by the way, before we go on your, let me say, your bottom left corner, which is now my right bottom corner, you guys are going to click likes. There's a sign there like this. On a count of three, we're all going to click it, right? 1, 2, 3. Click, 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 click. Thank you very much. Now we go to the other side. So on your right, bottom right, I guess this is the most I'll ever speak on this interview because I'd like this guest that we have today to share their story. And for me, it's somebody that I love, it's somebody I care about, it's somebody whom I'm generally proud of. And he's somebody whom I feel like I'm a blood older brother to. And he's somebody that I brag about in my own spaces wherever I am because he's somebody who doesn't disappoint. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce to you some of the things that you probably don't know. His titles are: he's a drummer, he is Ingane Kankulunkulu, Nangiti Ingane Kankulunkulu. He grew up as one of those kids that a lot of us would be like, but what is interesting is that when you watch a lot of the work that he does right now, you will never even know the type of a person that he is in the inside. He's rooted in the Word of God, and I think that's one of the things that make me love him so much, because I do know his principles. I know what he believes in, his values, and not only that he just believes in, or maybe he preaches them, because he probably doesn't even ever say such things, but I know that he practices them. So he's a drummer, he's a comedian. Probably some of you guys don't know. He'll probably unearth that at some point in his career. I'm sure with some of the work that he's been doing, you can tell. He's a dancer. Some of you guys probably don't know. He is a songwriter. He's a music producer. He is a rapper. He is an entrepreneur. He's okay. I've already said dancer. I've already said drummer. What are you not, ladies and gentlemen? Robot boy.
Excess Buddha. Yo, it's been a while, eh? Yo, should my that's why I'm saying I'm my voice notes or you
That's it. I remember the one time I was in a very serious meeting.
Namasuti.
Yeah, indeed. If only I'm neat, and then a video of yours pops up. And I just so happened to watch it in the middle of a meeting. But I just love what you've been doing.
Yeah.
I admire who you are becoming. You remind me of a lot of myself many years ago. And I just want to keep contributing and uplifting you because of what you stand for, who you are, what you're becoming. And just everything else, just like how a Grootman should be proud of in Donayam, you know? And just how you consistently outblasso my light, and I'm saying that I know you will never say such a thing. You're very humble, but another thing my light. You probably are asking what do you mean Prasbuna to outblasso my light? Yeah, lento ye fame, because it's starting to become famous now. I'm Chinese because baso when they're still coming up, and then 3 years later they become something else, and you also become like I don't even want to just, I don't want to be entangled in a space where I kind of feel like I'm imposing on this person, on Yabatina and whatever. If there's anyone I can stand on any platform and be proud of, I can open any opportunity when it does come one day, gladly so even. And if there's anyone that I feel is like a younger brother to me, is this young man. His name is Mzi Mbuli.
Yes, sir.
Robert boy, let's get into this thing.
Shout out.
I said, what are you not?
Oh, what am I not? I'm not a lot of things. There's other things you still need to add. A TV presenter, host, editor, graphic designer, videographer, photographer, ghostwriter, but you said songwriter, so it kind of counts. Now there's a lot, man, but I'm just a God-given, talented kid. And yeah, ngiyabonga Spuda, like, you know, of course, Mauti, I remind you of you. You know, I used to see me as you. Lento leyo ukuthi you need to do one thing. Angazi itolo bad, you know, ukuthi who's the person that said it's a rule. And that was one of my biggest things in Kula. Like, you can only be this. Because legal people is a Bible that says thou outdo one thing, you know. And for someone like you to do so many things so well, that's what made me feel like now I'm relate to you know. And it was weird because I thought this before I met you. So by the time I met you, it was like already God destined.
I would like to know your story. Let's forget these cameras now. Let's have a conversation. Sure. Who is Mzi Mbuli? Let's share the story.
Mbuli, Ntona ezalele Pimvili, ekhulele naledi naseDikrufu, and was raised mostly in the south, Mondio. Went to Mondio Primary, Mondio High, MGI, angazi ama-M kuphela, yabo. And just a kid that's God-fearing and that has these God-given talents. Ngifuna umuntu okwazi ukucula, ohleli emva kwamadesk aloku akubala amaphepha azibuza ukuthi mara ngenzani ngale talent yami yokucula. Or umuntu one-creativity yokupenda and draw and artwork azibuza ukuthi mara ngifunani kule system yeso engangifulfill in terms of my passion. I want people to realize that Robot Boy doesn't have more hours than you in a day. So how is it that Robot Boy is doing so many things so well and he has the same 24 hours as you? You know, I'm the type of dude, you know, because you'll be surprised, Buddha, how many people are as talented and as gifted as us. They're just either sleeping on themselves or the system of saying, Shalawinte Wadi has got them on a lock, you know? And that's why I do what I do, you know? It's a passion to me. That's why I love it. That's why I do it easily too. But at the same time, I'm always trying to inspire the next person. Because firstly, every God-given talent you have is God-given. So you don't have the right to boast. Everything you have is it's not about what you do, it's about who you are. Because as an author, there's another author. As a musician, there's another musician. You know what I mean? There's a lot of males, there's a lot of people that own businesses, there's a lot of everything you do, but there's only one Spuda. Understand? So you can only hold on and trust in yourself being unique and being the only one that God made, yes. Because as far as what you do, there's many comedians, dancers, taller people, funnier people. So I've never held on to my talent and said, because of the talent, because I can easily be replaced. On TV, on radio, on podcasts, you can always be replaced with what you do. But it's about holding on to who you are as umuntu and trusting the fact that as umzingiwan emhlabeni. So that's what you can run with, you know? So not being too boastful about the talents because you can be replaced, but trusting in you as an individual and the mark you making in people's lives, as well as the impact you're putting in people's lives, you know? Earlier on, just off air, I was saying to Untanga, I don't believe in fame. You know, I believe in influence. Because every influential person is famous. But not every famous person is influential. So you can be famous, you can have your numbers, but there's no engagement. Or you can be seen and liked, but when you say things, people don't follow, people don't do, people don't get inspired. That's the difference with being famous with no influence. So it's more of an influence thing, you know. Everything I touch through Christ must prosper, but at the same time it must benefit someone else. You know, no, nami ngibuye Soweto. Futhi nami manga landela passion yami or push into so, you know, I can also become something. And it doesn't have to be entertainment only, you know. And that's why I love the fact that we both here, we're almost the same people, but you have more book, you know, businesses and public speaking also, because I'm too much entertainment, but you're also business. So people can see that it's not about saying do 1,000 things in entertainment, but you can even do 1,000 things in corporate, you know, as an entrepreneur. So that's the bigger picture where people need to learn. If you sow what you reap, you know, you reap what you sow. It's like, if you don't put in the time, we live in a world where no one's going to do it for you. You know, no one's going to do anything for you. And in fact, it's crazy because some people, let's say Lababuya Corner, the surroundings they're from, or their hood, the environment, or their family doesn't really believe in them. And it takes a talent show like an Idols for them to make it to top 5 because they kind of Ekasi like it is on back. Because magaloka cule Ekasi balok but I when I know cule kwakho. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's it's like it's crazy, you know. It's funny, but if you think about it, it's really deep rooted. Because certain times people do want to break out and become these great people, but it's gonna take recognition, or it's gonna take a cosign. You know, and that's what I also want people to understand. You're talented with or without a platform. Like a platform acknowledging you is it's nice to have a blue tick on Instagram. It's nice to have this, but with or without that blue tick, it doesn't mean you're not talented. I mean, when I got a blue tick, I blue ticked the blue tick. Like for me, it was like, okay, sharp, you know?
Sure.
Because it's not gonna make my content funnier. It's not going to make my music better. It's not, if you're a beauty person, it's not going to make you look even more beautiful. Yes, it's a badge. It's nice to have as an acknowledgement. You can have international reach or whatever, yes, but that blue tick won't do nothing if you don't do nothing. So a lot of people, Bamelama platform, like, you're a good actor, whether you're on a great soapy or not. You know, believe that in yourself first. Like, self-love is the first thing you need to have. You know, and then once on self-love, you'll understand you don't need anybody's approval to know that you're good at what you do. You know, believe in yourself. And then, yes, when the platforms come, you mention that, you show the articles, you show the cosigns and whatever, it's great. But don't let that be the main thing if you already believe in yourself, you know?
Did you know how impactful or influential your father was when you were growing up? And what did that do to you? Or how has that contributed into you becoming the person that you are becoming or the person that you are right now? And by the way, for those who don't know, Itamalake Mbuli, the great, amazing South African poet, he was also an activist. He played also a very big role in liberating the country, just like what the late great Abu Maria Makeba did. May his soul rest in peace. The late great of Abu Brahu did. May his soul rest in peace. What Abu Kaifas and Mama Letambulu did, Abu Kaifas Semenya, and all those great people did. You need to remember what we're all doing now. Another one is on radio, another one is on TV, another one is singing, is a musician, another one is a book author, another one is an academic, another one is a politician, etc., etc. It was the same thing in their era. His father was a poet and an activist, but locally. And when you listen to his father's writings and his mind, you can tell of the amazing black consciousness content that comes out of his mouth. Spitting venom, spitting truth, unashamedly, unapologetically so. What did that do to you?
So, first question about the impact. I mean, I'm a grade 6, this is land on my X5 bulletproof engine. It's in a Hambali.
Sure.
You know,
tell about that time.
In Mondio.
Sure.
Yeah, still in Mondio.
I'm at Mondio. That time, like in those days, Mondio is like a Santi.
Yeah.
It's
suburb. Yeah, it's suburb in Tulekre. Yeah,
sure.
In the south, you know. So small things, man, like chilling at home. Mom comes in the room and says, "Whoa, it's just Bogalini ETV, Nangubaba," you know. Okay, dad's on TV sharp. Kali radio, Nangubaba. Okay, he's on radio. On his birthday, Figu Mandela, you know. It's like, yeah. So it took a while to realize, well, I always knew he was a big deal and he was impactful and the world and the country recognized him. And then what it did for me is it obviously made me realize who I was in the presence of. Because you know ekhaya uhlonipha abazali because abazali babo. But mawubona umuntu ohlonishwayo outside, it also brings a bigger, you know. So
because already as it is sort of this step, already as it is Tamalak is terri.
Yeah, applied.
Even if it's fun.
Yes.
Tamalak as a kid is terri.
Yes.
I imagine Tamalak on China Mandela round. Yo.
I wanna like uring on Okshera and he wanna uring was like there's so much impact, you know, and love for him too, you know. And people from London, you know, gifts are being sent, you know. I just realized it was okay, and then I realized what he does or what he done when I got smart enough to start Googling him. And I think for me, it just taught me how to understand the industry. So it's like, okay, dad is in the industry, one. Two, he's also affiliated to government to some extent. So it's like, okay, here are these two lanes, and this is what comes with being here. So in my growing up, I've always had these God-given talents. I've always had these dreams and ambitions, but it was more of a, if anything, this is what would happen if I land up here. This is what will happen if I land up here. So I just need to pick, because this is the template I'm seeing, you know. It's easier for people to see something ekaya than on TV, you know. Because obviously as a kid on TV, but you can't relate because it's still TV. On BMX bicycles, on X Games, like I want to be a dirt rider, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of careers that people see on TV and wish to be in, but it's easier to see it recently, you know, like I think it just showed me a pathway in terms of what this means and what means. Also, I learned very quickly in the media, with media. They came to interview us at the house, and this lady, this magazine comes to the house, interview timer. They say in the room, there was bongo drums. Do I know how to play? I'm like, yes, but please play something. Something. So that's like grade 5.
Oh, okay.
I think grade 6, yeah. And Mzwakimbuli Jr. jumped in front of us and offered to play us his favorite song on the bongos. Hi, bo. Saying it's that's when I knew. I was like, okay, clearly, this is how the media works, you know, and this is how, and then also what the issues that are happening in Kaya. That's another thing I started seeing, you know. That's another thing I started seeing, like where, when mom and dad had an argument, you know, put me newspaper article, and it's the worst picture of my dad's facial expression because it needs to land with the title. You know what I'm saying? I was like, okay, cool.
The narrative. So
yes, the narrative. Yeah. Then I saw the power of media and how it can ruin your life and your family's life and impact you. And then the stories and all of that. So I just realized, okay, sharp. As far as entertainment goes, media is only your friend, Mantandabon, you know? That's what I learned from that. And that's pretty much that.
And then your, from those days of an activist, or the activism days, all the way to Vandag, I wouldn't even, and Nkambi Odedlaku people might not know, because she's not in the spotlight. When did you start, and why did you last? That's a wrong way of putting it. Why did you last long in concert? So the best way.
How are you?
Okay, let me put it this way. There was because this guy Tina Nasakura. Ngoba vele uyafostia mina uhlala usenkonzweni. But there was the time when you know,
masonga sa forced. Masonga forced. Uzenzela into
yawo. I was out of there.
Yeah.
Only when life happens. And then when myself we as said, after a couple of years of maybe varsity and just 5 years or after 7 years or whatever. So that's what happened to me. Yeah. And then when you discover Unkulunkulu, then you discover, this is the reason why. You know what I mean, etc. So I would like to maybe, you know, find out more about your story as far as Inkonzo is concerned, because if there is anyone Tinana Sakula who they would call that's what I would say to you now. Yeah. But the public does not know that. Yeah. And the public does not know Ubzi Utanding Konzo, like the way this guy is literally a church guy. Like Laban Labesite Kazi, hey, they are king. Since it's a saying to an yes.
I think obviously through the way I speak about my God-given talents, you know, God is the author and the creator of everything, you know, and the finisher. It's all skule vele, like you say, you know, every Sunday, the whole house, you know, so shout out to my mom and my sisters, you know, because I was raised by them in that light also. So it's like always at the church, and then you start serving at the church, and then you know. So I had a responsibility, you know. Okay, but if when I say he must always be there because of Petis Kiasako, you know. So the way I was able to last longer was my involvement in it. But then also when I was grown enough to make my own decisions, I was still like, Mara, this is my decision, you know, because I believe like as God being your maker, man, like if on my puga, you have to take it to iStore. You know, I'm we used it to a corner shop
or early read.
or no more is the rings. At the end of the day, you can try find replacement places to fix it until you have to go to the creator, which is Apple. So now that's Apple ya like Sentinel Rosebank. Mine as I was say funny phone Apple ya until we reach like the whole actual. You know what I'm saying?
That's what they look for. Yeah,
you know what I
then you
mean?
discover it was supposed to be in the first place. Sure.
Yeah, so that's my chat about life, man, is that if I'm made in God's image and I'm his child, he should be the first person I'm closest to. Because there's other people that have advice, there's other people that have opinions and whatever, but as far as me being made by him and not being man-made, that's, you know, that's where my foundation lies, you know. TGDSOY is what I live by. Trust God, don't sleep on yourself. And that's what's written behind my chain.
Say that again?
TGDSOY. Trust God, don't sleep on yourself. That's the motto. So it was Osiswa, I mean, that was always reminding me tomorrow's church, as you know, because obviously my mom set that rule, set that lifestyle, and then my sister Utandana got me into that. And then we were both involved, and she's now a pastor. She's actually the one leading Naledi AFM. You know, the senior pastor at Lapaya. So it's like, yeah, even when I had the decision to not, you know, I felt like I still need to stay rooted to him because of what I believe, you know, and then into me meeting people like Carl Dinkelman, leading me into 3C Ministries, you know, Pastor Pearson, Pastor Brett Pretorius, and then me growing in that, you know, in a church that's big on discipleship, you know, learning the importance of being a disciple, being a leader, being led, and just being committed and dedicated to the work of God. You know, that's what kept me there. And I've never found a reason to leave Christ or God, because everything I've done has worked out to his favor. You know what I mean? So yeah, like you saw into Nakona Ekaya, as Pools, as Bemi, you know what I mean? So it looked right and it made sense. Because I feel like a lot of times Abantu will relate something to Umuntu and say, Utinyenze so Marumo wenzi so. Do you know what I'm saying? So for me, everything that was said was done. Everything that was lived was true and applied. You know, sisters got married, got kids in marriage, sharp, perfect template. You know, so everything was straight and clean. So I was like, okay, sharp. Sharp.
How many talents do you think you have? Because I always kind of believe umuntu nomuntu uyilenta yiyo, and just like him on fire. Ungayithola ePick n Pay, eSpar, eMasulumaneni, Ekasi, eSpaza Shop. Those are distribution platforms.
Yeah.
I look at it the same with who we are or whom we are, and that's why I love your being rooted in the Word of God. Gives you the ability to choose whichever expression or platform to put out or to serve Him.
Yes.
Right? You can either serve Him through beating out drums, serve Him through doing stand-up comedy, serve Him through doing this type of content that just might make people laugh. But do you wanna, the bigger picture or the end goal? They won't even understand of what they're learning if I'm sharing this type of content.
Yeah.
Or you wanna share his message or embrace him through writing a song, being on stage, presenting a TV show, etc., etc. Now let's talk about those different talents. Why am I putting it that way? I'm putting it that way so as to say to everybody out there who kind of feels they are multi-talented, exactly what you were saying earlier as well. Ungasabi, who's expressa ngazo zonke le indlela ehlukahlukene. So let's talk about not necessarily the platforms, but the talents. Which are talents that you think you have? Because those ones that I know you for, or that the public knows you for, you are flipping good at. You're good in everything that you do.
Shout out. I think the biggest thing I want to say is that creativity. Like the one thing he said is, okay, now creativity is gonna because all my talents and everything I can do flows through that. I like saying for people that are intellectually smart in terms of numbers, there's an answer for what they do. 1 + 1 is 2. You can find that answer in a textbook. We type of people that have a blank page. That's who we are. Like, nigga blank page. There's no answer for what I can do or what I'm about to do. So that's what it is. I can take an instrument, and because most of the things I do are self-taught. Like I didn't go to school for them, I didn't go to a class for them, you know, like impersonations, voiceovers. It's like things that I see and I can put in and execute. So that's the biggest thing for me. Like if something can be learned, then I'll probably do it. If something can be taught, then I'll excel in it. Because not everybody was born already knowing these things, if you get what I'm saying. So that's another thing. Some people are sleeping on themselves on the notion of you can still learn. You know, I remember when you were having a conversation, Nami, I think 4 or 5 years ago, and my man, I still want to go back to school, my man, and just finish this thing, yeah, and then you were mentioning with my singing, you know, it's like that thing of you still in you, as DJ Spoo felt like, no, let me still go back to school and learn. You know, there's talents out there, there's classes, there's Yaboni if YouTube, Bene University, Ngabes graduates as Bangaki, the school of YouTube. That's all you need to do. Apply your time, apply your mind, and learn certain things. So that's where my talents go in, is that as long as there's creativity involved or needed, I'm the guy, you know. But I think my best one is dancing. I can do that in my sleep. So there's dancing, then humor, then rapping, then drumming, then everything else.
What is everything else? Presenting?
Yeah, hosting. Okay,
let's count them. Let's start.
So let me do this, actually. I'm very good at improvising.
Okay, maybe let's do it this way. So, okay, let's do it this way. Let me start.
Okay, go.
I can present.
I can host.
I can present both on radio and on
Oh, I wanted to check something. Where is your phone? The other one. The blue one. Okay, thank you. Just make the date.
Okay. Yes. You got the gun.
Can I have choice, Mom? I don't have a choice. Wait.
Okay, sure.